Your credit score is like your reputation, except it's even more important because it can determine whether you get approved for loans or credit cards. It's kind of like the popularity metric in high school, except instead of getting invited to the coolest parties, you get invited to borrow large sums of money at a reasonable interest rate. So basically your credit score is even more important than high school, and that says a lot because basically high school is the most important thing in the world. Just kidding. But if you want to be the cool kid that gets invited to the coolest parties, you better stick around and listen to what I have to say. I think this is one of the most simple yet misunderstood topics of personal finance. But by following the strategies in this video, you will very soon have lenders begging you to take their money. Your credit score is a 3-digit number that lenders use to determine your credit worthiness. A good credit score is generally considered to be anything above 700. Credit scores typically range between 300 to 850, with higher scores indicating a lower risk to lenders. Scores above 700 are generally considered to be good, while scores above 750 is considered to be excellent. A good credit score can help you qualify for loans and credit cards at lower interest rates, and may also make it easier to rent an apartment or get utilities connected. Having a good credit score is like getting straight A's on your report card. It means you are a responsible adult that pays their bills on time and doesn't max out their credit cards. Lenders love giving their money to people with good credit scores because that means they're less likely to default on their loans. On the other hand, a low credit score is like having a bunch of F's on your report card. It basically means you're a financial hot mess that can't be trusted with money. Lenders will be hesitant to give you a loan or credit card, and if they do, they'll charge you a higher interest rate to compensate for the risk. Now let's talk about the several factors that contribute to your credit score and how you can build the perfect credit score. Number 1 is payment history. This is like the teacher who always grades you harshly and holds you to a high standard. Just one late payment can ruin your entire credit score, just like how one bad grade can ruin your entire report card. So if you want to have a good credit score, you need to make sure that you pay all your bills on time. And no, paying your bills fashionably late is not a thing. You basically need to be like the kid who always does their homework on time and impresses the teacher, aka your credit score. This is one of the most important factors that go into your credit score because it includes information about whether or not you've been making your payments on time or whether you have any late payments or defaults. Late payments and defaults will have a negative impact on your credit score. What will also improve your credit score at a much faster rate is if you don't only make the minimum payments each month, but pay off your credit in full each month. Now this goes hand in hand with the next factor, which is credit utilization. Credit utilization is like a bar tab at a fancy restaurant. Just like you don't want to rack up too big of a tab at the restaurant, you also don't want to max out your credit cards either. If you do, it will lower your score and make it difficult for you to get approved for new credit in the future. Generally speaking, it's a good idea to keep your utilization below 30%. If your utilization is high, it may indicate to lenders that you are relying heavily on credit and that you may be a higher risk of default. For example, if you have $5,000 of credit available to you, you should keep your credit utilization below $3,500 or 30%. Just like how you should try to pay off your tab in full each time you go to the restaurant, it's a good idea to pay off your credit card balances in full each month to keep your utilization low. And just like how the fancy restaurant may offer you a higher credit limit if you're a good customer, your credit card company might offer you a higher credit limit if you have a good credit score and keep your utilization low. So in short, credit utilization is all about using credit responsibly and not overdoing it. Number 3, the length of your credit history. This is a simple concept but will take patience and consistency. Basically, the longer your credit history, the more information lenders have about your borrowing and repayment habits. Having a longer credit history can help improve your score because it shows lenders that you have a track record of using credit responsibly. If you're a young adult just starting to build your credit, don't panic. Just keep using your credit card responsibly and your credit history will grow over time. Next up is credit mix. Credit mix is like a well-balanced diet. Just like how you want a variety of food in your diet to get all the nutrients you need, you want to have a mix of different types of credit accounts to show that you can handle different types of credit responsibly. Having a mix of different credit accounts like a mortgage, a car loan, or multiple credit cards is like having a well-balanced diet with different food groups. It shows lenders that you can handle different types of credit and may be a good indicator of your credit worthiness. On the other hand, having only one credit account like a credit card is like having a diet that consists of only junk food. It might not be as attractive to lenders and could potentially harm your credit score. This brings me to number 5, which is new credit. Every time you apply for new credit, it creates a hard inquiry on your credit report, which can slightly lower your credit score. This is because lenders are worried that you are just out there trying to get as much credit as possible, and this might not be very attractive to lenders, so it's a good idea to limit the amount of credit applications you make. Think of new credit as a new workout routine. When you try out a new workout routine, it can be exciting and potentially lead to good results. However, it will cause some muscle soreness. Applying for new credit can also be exciting, especially if you're approved for a loan or a credit card with a low interest rate. However, applying for new credit can also be tough on your credit score. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Debt is a funny thing. It can sneak up on you like a silent killer, creeping into your life until it feels like it's everywhere. And once you're in debt, it can be tough to get out. There are a million reasons why people can't pay off their debt. Maybe they got a bit carried away with their credit cards and didn't realize how much they were spending until it got too late. Or maybe they lost their job and couldn't make their payments on time. Or maybe they just made some plain old bad financial decisions. But no matter what the reason, the fact remains that debt can be a real drag. It's like a ball and chain that keeps you from moving forward and reaching your financial goals. It can make you feel like you're stuck in quicksand no matter how hard you try to escape. So why do people keep going into debt? Well, it could be that they're just not paying attention to their personal finances. But I believe the biggest reason people are drowning in debt is that they're just constantly living above their means, trying to keep up with the Joneses, and constantly trying to one-up each other with the latest gadgets and gizmos. I hope you now understand that building and maintaining a good credit score is the most important thing in the world and that your entire life depends on it. So make sure to obsessively check your credit score every day, pay your bills on time, and never, ever make a late payment. And if you do happen to make a mistake, just remember that it's the end of the world. But seriously, your credit score is important, but it's not the only factor that lenders consider when deciding whether or not to approve you for new credit. It is important to focus on building and maintaining a good credit score, but it's also important to live your life and not let your credit score dictate everything you do. So get out there, make smart financial decisions, but also don't forget to have some fun and hit that like button because it's absolutely free and won't put you any further in debt, I promise. Thanks for watching, and as always, make sure to subscribe to my channel for weekly videos on all things personal finance. I'll see you very soon.